adjust for daylight savings time. I haven't changed the clock. What's going on over there? Well, I'll tell you what's going on over there. We're going to do walls today. Walls and part of the ceiling. Pardon me. So, got everything cleaned up. I'm going to have to take those brackets off. I'm going to go and pick up, I don't know, 5 sheets of OSB. 5 is plenty for now. It's within the budget. You know how it goes. One of them from the wall. We'll stop right there, right at 4 feet. So these will come down, which unfortunately that's like right in the middle of a stud bay. You know, it is what it is. And then the other one will go just about to the end of the window. And that's enough for over here. Then we'll do 2 on the ceiling. Sheet is 4 by 8. The room is 10 feet-ish. So we're going to have a 2-foot cut that we're going to have to make the whole way down. One side or the other, or alternate. I'm not going to alternate. That's stupid. I think it looks dumb. If I was doing drywall, maybe. But even then, probably not. So 2 sheets over here. That'll get us to the window. And then whatever I can get on the ceiling. And if I do it right, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, which will also put us right about here. I got a thing, because we're getting flies in the window, because the windows suck. But they're not dumb, or they're not smart enough to get out behind the plastic, so they just get trapped in the window. I thought I'd try that and see if it helped. It did not. Anyway, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll have a 2-foot cut. And I can take the other one, the other piece that's 4 by 8, and I can cut 2, 2, 2, 2. I can get 4 2-foot cuts out of the whole thing, plus or minus, you know. But then when that's done, this will go back. And then in a couple weeks, payday hits again. We'll pull this stuff out. We'll do the next 8 feet, which will take us from roughly the edge of that window to roughly over here somewhere. Because if I remember right, this wall was 22 feet. And if you do your math, 8 and 8 and 8, right? This is 24? 24? Yeah, sure. And if I'm standing them up, and I'll tell you why I'm standing them up in a minute, that'd be 2, 4, 6 sheets. If I laid it down, here's the problem laying it down. Floor to ceiling is not 8 feet. Floor to ceiling is about 91 inches. So if I lay it down, I've got to make one long cut on every piece. Put one piece down, put one on top, one down, one on top, one down, one on top. Whereas if I just stand them up, I still have to cut every piece, but I have to cut the short side, and I still only have to cut off, 3 inches-ish, depending on, the squareness of the building in the moment. So that's the plan. Yeah, that is exactly the plan. Do that today. I took out a box of screws. Where did I put them? I took them out so I could get to them. We're going to christen the new circular saw today. Oh, there they are. Right there. Okay. So 7/16 OSB is what we're going to use. It's the smaller of the sizes that we put on the floor. Not this. I think the 7/16 is the green. Yeah. It's the thinner stuff. And I went with the thinner stuff because it's a wall, it's a ceiling, it'll be fine, number one. Number two, it's a little cheaper. Number three, it's a lot lighter. So, this was about 20 bucks a sheet, plus or minus. This stuff is now 35, almost 40 a sheet. So, this is great. I like it. You're beautiful. You're doing God's work. I can't afford you. So, 2 sheets of that versus, 5 sheets of this. So, we're gonna go that way. And we could paint it. I've still got some black paint left from when we did the pallet board wall there. But we could paint it. That stack of carpet under the dresser, that's going to go up on the wall because this is where the recording is all going to happen. Is it going to do a whole hell of a lot? No, not really. But this, slightly reflective auditorially, if we get some bounce back. That OSB is going to be a lot more aggressive with the reflection because it's a harder surface. There's no give in that stuff at all. So that's what we're going to use I made a mistake. That's what we're going to use those carpet squares for. And then I've got some in the house that I kind of did the same thing with. I'm going to bring them out. And we'll just do as much as we can. My initial thought was just carpet this whole thing. But I don't have enough to do that. And I don't particularly want to buy another box just to do that. I mean, I have to buy another box anyway to do the bathroom and everything. But I'm considering staggering. I think we talked about that. One up there, like checkerboard. One, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. That kind of a situation. But I don't know yet. Won't know till I start. The screens have to be considered because, the desk is going to go back here. If I've got 2 monitors right there, putting the carpet behind the monitors, what the hell is that going to do? It's going to do very, very little. Negligible, some might say. They would be correct. So, on the fence, don't know for sure. Gonna have to find my little box extensions because those are gonna have to come forward a little bit. Not a big deal. We're only gonna have to do the one for the day. The other one's right there. It'll happen next time. I knew when I did it I should have pulled those farther forward, and I didn't because I didn't know for sure what I was gonna be doing with the wall, and now I'm paying the price for it. Story of my life, ladies and gentlemen. That's okay. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Did I tighten that? No, I didn't. Good job, me. Way to plan ahead. Have been considering which way I want to do this. If I want to do the ceiling first, as some argue you should, or if I want to do the walls first, as some argue you should. In my opinion, I understand the argument for doing ceiling first. I do. I don't think it matters much. And I'll tell you why. If I do the ceiling first, boom, then I can take my wall and butt it right up against the ceiling, right? And that's fine. That ain't gonna matter. The cuts aren't gonna be great. I'm gonna leave the gap at the bottom because we're gonna put a baseboard on. If we put the wall up first and you go all the way, as the argument is you shouldn't do, then you do the same thing with the ceiling. You just butt it all the way up and you're good. You call that fine. The quote-unquote preferred method, you put your wall up first, all the way, and then you come down a 1/2 inch, or whatever the thickness of your material is, so you can push this in, and it will support it while you're over here putting screws in it. Now, yes, physics says that will work. Let's discuss how useful that is really going to be. Will it support the work? Yes. You're still going to have a hand on it to hold up the other end, right? So instead of starting, on the edges, over here or over here, put a couple screws, 3 or 4 in the middle, and it'll be fine. The problem I have with this is, so here's your wall, and we've left our gap. I've got a 4 by 8 foot sheet of this that is getting held up by this little 1/2 inch piece here. And will it work? Yes. Is it worth doing that way? I honestly don't think so. I would rather do walls first, all the way up, ceiling meets the wall, and then just adjust it from there. That's my personal opinion and preference, and that's probably how we gonna do it. It's my thinking anyway. So this is ready enough. I can get in and out of here without killing myself. I can reach up here just fine. I brought the little platform thingy to do the ceiling. When it's time to do the ceiling, we'll drop the light. We'll go our 2 here. We'll have to cut a little hole there. That's not a big deal, because the hole really just needs to be big enough for the wire to get through. Access to the box should we need it. But the light will hide it. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And it's not going to be perfect because, I don't believe in perfect. I got a box I got to take to the post office. Somebody bought some stuff. Thank you, somebody. Hope you enjoy your stuff. So we are going to be using 1 5/8 wood screws. Could use drywall screws, but I don't have 1 5/8. I think I have 1 1/4, which would still be fine, but I don't have very many of them, so we'll use those. That's what we'll do. So if you can see down there, we've got a little bit of a gap. That's okay, because what I'm going to do for baseboards in this thing, I'm going to go get some, it's like a 4 by 1 rough cut. It's finished on the face, but the edges are not finished. It's 3/4 of an inch thick. It's 8 feet long. It's cheaper than a 2 by 4. It's cheaper than a 2 by 1, and it's gonna have, it's gonna blend in with the rest of what we're going for out here a little better. The same lumber, same everything. It's just not been finished on one side. And when we get this done, I kind of want to do something with this corner. Probably be the same kind of thing. I'll take a piece of that and we'll just, and we can't do that corner very well because the heater's there, but that's okay. That's the plan, though. That's the plan. Well, I'll get started on that here in a little bit. Gotta run that package to the post office. Gotta pick up some batteries. My smoke detector was beeping at me, so it's ready for a new battery. Put a new blade on the saw. We'll see how it goes. I like my Craftsman tools, as you're well aware. I've got a bunch of them. Couple of things about this that I kind of prefer on my Ryobi. One, the Ryobi's backwards. It's got the motor on this side. Does that matter? No, not really. The Ryobi does have a much chunkier switch. Like, there's a very click, click, click. It's okay. It ain't great. where the Allen key here goes to remove the blade is in just an absolute terrible spot. Like you couldn't find, over here, in the handle here. I mean, anywhere, it's got to be right there. It's terrible. That is a terrible spot. It's terrible. It's terrible. We'll see. I'm sure it will be just fine. I had a cup of coffee. There it is. Okay. It's a cold one today. 20-something degrees. Weren't good enough to go. I'm going to go warm up the car. Got to make some stops to get some Thanksgiving consumables. Would you like a piece of gum? I brought enough for everybody, given the number of people who watch these videos. Got plenty. Okay. I'll be back with you when we got a board or two up. I gotta go dig up the sawhorses, though. Forgot to do that. They're gonna be cold. That'll help. Alright. See y'all later. Behold. Lumber. That's all. Well, hi. Hey, Bluetooth earbuds. I forgot they're a thing. That window obviously is not, 100% yet. We gotta do a little more work with that. It is 12:30-ish. I only did one, because, I'm not as spry as I used to be, and I was never very spry to begin with. That one piece, getting it up there and holding it and putting the screws in it, just about wrecked me. And gonna have to do another one to work around the light. I'm just gonna wait and do the ceiling till I get a extra pair of hands here. So 1 on the ceiling, 4 on the wall, another 1.5 would finish the wall. So that's about what I figured. Another issue we ran into is everywhere there's a seam, I've got a stud right under there and right under there and not there. But I have a plan. It'll be fine. Ain't worried about it. Another situation that has arisen is square. As we all know, nothing in nature is square by default. It took man to come along and really screw things up. And this wall, well, so that corner down was like 93 inches. This corner down was like 92 inches. And I still even cut it just a little too long. So I wasn't going to pull it back out to do that. One of the big pain in the necks about working out here is that the ceiling is so short, And so had I laid these down, right, instead of standing them up, we could have had a full sheet on the bottom and then a partial sheet on the top, and I would have had to do a long cut, which would have been fine. Problem is, I don't have anything that I can use as a fence for a long cut. It's okay, though. So I'd rather do 4 short cuts than, 2 long cuts. I can hide it better. But, you put the 2 on the bottom, and then you put the 2 on top, and you just kind of flip like that, and then it's a lot easier. It would have covered the same square footage anyway. But God, I have had something in my eye for like 20 minutes, and it's really driving me nuts. But yeah, so put the extensions on the outlets. We just missed that other one by about 1 foot. So when we do that one, we'll have to cut out for the outlet, put the extension on it. I didn't show that because it's just like we did these. Cut the board to height and then measure in and up to pick a corner. I picked that one, and then cut out your box, and I cut them about 4 1/8, I think. And that seems to work just fine. Now, I should put all of this stuff back. I'm not going to, because I'm tired, and I'm hungry, and I want to lay down and have a nap. And I burned through a bunch of my batteries, so everything's going to charge. The saw was great. It does have one little design, I don't want to call it a flaw. I don't want to call it a feature either. I was vacuuming up and I filled the bag. I got to get a bag. But let's look at it. Yeah. Get in here so we get a little contrast. So most of them, they'll have a notch. This just has this. This is where, that's your blade guide right there. And it's 1.5 inches in from here, which is kind of nice that it's a nice even number. I don't know what this one's for, but that, I've never seen one that just stops, that terminates. It's usually just got a little slit cut in it. So, yeah, it's alright. Works great though. No complaints with the saw. So I've been thinking about this corner too and what we're going to do with that carpet. And I've got enough. I don't need to do the whole thing, and I'm not going to do this wall because that wall's already textured enough. It's going to do just fine. And again, we've talked about this once before. I'm not going full bore, 100% dead, you know, I don't want that. So what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to start at the top of the desk and go over to the window and up. Now I know I've already got these. That's fine. I can pull those. I just wanted to get the holes marked so I knew where I needed to be. But I think, you know, just go top of the desk, edge of the window, up and over. I don't have enough there, I don't think, to do it all. It'll be close. That's 4 feet. That's a little more than 2. So call it 6.5. So I'd have to take 1 and cut it to get the strip that's going to go right along the window. But I don't care about that. What my plan to fix this is, and it's one I've done before, is we either get another piece of this and we cut a strip about 3 or 4 inches wide, and you just put it right on top. You tack nail it or something. Or you get a strip of something else. And you just all the way up, and then it looks architectural, looks structural. That's the same problem we have right there. There's nothing to attach that to. So one board is bent one way because there is a stud here, and this one doesn't have anything to screw to, so it's gonna come out the other way. Ain't too worried about that. I still got to get the saw and finish cutting out for the window. Not really worried about that right now. I am going to put the insulation right there back in there, put the curtains on, start packing up, and then go inside, have some lunch, and lay down for a bit. This just about wrecked me. Standing up and down on the platform to hold that thing. God, my thighs. They're on fire. And not in a good way. Not like NBA Jam Tournament Edition fire. Like immolation fire. Don't like it. No, sir. And when you got, you know, thighs as thick with 2 C's as mine, that's a lot. That's a lot of fire. That's what that is. That's a lot of fire. Anyway, I'll get back working on that. Thanks, everybody.